Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to any of us. Welcome to CEO Talk, a series conducted by CEO TV, where CEO narrate a story and share their learning and their success of building a great brand. So today we have with us Binod Singh, the Chairman and CEO of Cross Identity, which is into identity and access management domain. Welcome, Binod. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you, and good afternoon.
Pleasure is ours. So, reflecting on your journey as a chairman and CEO of Cross Identity, can you just share a pivotal movement or a significant challenge that greatly influenced your leadership style or approach to running, your company?
There have been several such moments because we began way back in 2020 as a services company in identity and access management, and later on went on to become a product company. But then if you want me to pick up one moment, the one that I would pick up is in 2021. Some of us who have been in the industry for long enough would know that towards the end of 2020, there was a dot-com collapse and a major problem in the industry. The whole IT industry was in doldrums. That's the time, just about 8-10 months ago, we had been founded. So we were left, we had... From our venture capitalists, we did have a term sheet which was withdrawn. None of these guys were investing anymore. So we were left on very high and dry. We had one project only, which was in Singapore, by the way. I still remember with Citibank. That was the first project that we did as a service company. And we had no money. So I had to take up, I had put in all my cash in the business. So there was nothing left with me. And there was a time when for about 9 months, I had to feed my guys. We had just about 10 people in those days out of the project. And then I was feeding myself by doing work in the daytime and doing cooking and deliveries, food delivery in the evening. So that was there for 10 months. And what it taught me a lot of lessons. Because here I was, one of the highest paid executives before I just became an entrepreneur. And here I was with no credit cards, no cash, trying to meet both ends meet through doing cooking. That taught me a lot of things, and that has truly affected my management style. One thing that I understood was, don't get upset when bad situations hit you, because they are there for a reason. I truly believe that. And that has stuck on with us as a company culture. And when we have difficult situations, we all know that there is going to be a much better situation as well. In fact, these reverse stuff is always very true. And then that made me become very people-centric, because we had people who we couldn't pay, and we became like a family. And that culture has really stuck on with us, even when we have become much larger as an organization. So that's the incident, and these are some of the lessons that I took out of that, which stuck on with us.
Oh, thanks a lot. Pivoting from a service company to a product company, then in between, food delivery, that sounds really awesome. And thanks for, narrating the entire things to us. And so beyond your role as a leader, in the cybersecurity industry, what personal value or principles have guided your professional journey? And how do you ensure that they are reflected in the culture and ethos of Cross Identity?
I think truthfulness and honesty are still two values which, in spite of people saying other things, we believe that would never fade. Because you may end up having difficulties in the short run, like we do even go ahead and reject projects, do not take projects, because we think we cannot deliver them. The customer expectations are more because they do not have, identity and access management is a very, very complex area. And when people are going for the first time, their wish list could be something that are just not delivered, not possible to deliver. And most of the companies I would say, okay, let's accept it, and we will see as we go by. We don't do that. We are very straightforward, because what's the point in disappointing the customer? 1 year or 6 months down the line, might as well be very straight with what you have to do. And that is something that shows in our culture everywhere. When what kind of markets to go, if you get Like we have very large customers today in India. If you look at it, HDFC Bank has got close to 250,000 users, one of the most complex installations anywhere in the world, I would say. But before we accept anything, we really go into the details and look at how we can we deliver? If yes, then only we will take on. The second part that I would talk about is innovation. I think not even a corollary of being in this kind of an industry in cybersecurity, but as a point very attached to it, innovation, we believe, is extremely important. You'd be surprised that within 18 to 24 months of our becoming a product company, we won 3 international patents.
Wow.
And, we have filed for several more. So we are known for, we may be not as large as an IBM or somebody, but in terms of innovation, we're considered to be one of the prime companies in our space. I think innovation is to be taken as a part of the culture of a company. It's not just for the R&D people to be innovative. When you have innovation in your blood, whether you're in sales or marketing or doing whatever, you can think of doing something different from what everybody is doing. And that has become a part of our culture. So these 2 things, I would say, are extremely important to us.
Thanks a lot. While hearing you, I can relate and I can resonate. There are a lot of things which is in common. The way how you started your journey, because entrepreneurship is all about method. You start and you just keep moving, keep motivating yourself, and there can be a lot of factors which comes in between. And you just rightly pointed out, I think innovation is again one of the aspects which you just pointed. Comes in your culture process. Then I think the current trend is definitely about staying ahead of the curve. By continuously improving your products and services to meet your customer evolving needs. So with this, I'll just move on to the next question, which is all about identity management is a critical aspect of cybersecurity. Can you share the insight into the latest advancement or the best practice in identity access management that organization should consider to enhance their overall security posture?
Sure. I'll take one step back before I talk about what is what is the right way of doing this today. We got to look at what has changed in the last 7 to 8 years in the industry in general.
Mm-hmm.
So while there are several changes that have occurred in the industries, and I'm not talking about IT industry, I'm looking at all customers, there are 3 things that are most important. Excuse me. The first one is cloud, and all of us know that.
Mm-hmm.
Every single organization, business organization on earth is either fully in cloud or they're partly in cloud and they're moving towards full cloud kind of a status. Now, that has changed the whole face of cybersecurity and the kind of threats you have, because now you're exposing yourself to the internet as compared to being what we used to call, the firewall, the initial infrastructures and all that. The second big change that has occurred is in the supply chains. All supply chains have become digital. Mm-hmm. And this was not so at all many years ago. So that brings in its own threats and issues, whether you have a sales management software or you've got a delivery software. No matter what it is, everything is digital. So that's the second. And the third is working from remote. This is something that came a few years ago, but of course, COVID accelerated that whole situation. And it is something which has come to stay. And that again exposes you to a different kind of threats. With these 3 factors, the way identity and access management is seen, positioned, designed for an organization has radically changed. Because if you look at analysts like Gartner, they came out with a new philosophy called identity first security. What it essentially means that no matter what you're doing in security, identity has to be kept first, in front. What it means is that, today you don't know who is logging in from where, from which device, whether he's the rightful person or not. whether he's got the rightful accesses or not. And everything in an organization which will get breached is only about two things: the people's information and the information of the corporate, right? So essentially, the breach happens there. You talk about database security or any network security, its eventual result is breach in that aspect. Somebody accessing your information. And now it's said that you have to put identity right in the first, because you got to really, unless you examine that and you're okay with that, you should not do anything more beyond that. So, if you look at security technology, it's said that about 36 technologies are used in average by an organization. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, each one of these technologies is almost like an island. And that approach is not going to work anymore. The time has come when all of it has to be integrated. But the question is that, what do you integrate it with? What is that common denominator between these 36 tools that they are trying to do, which is going to integrate? That is identity. Identity is the only thing which is common to all the 36 cybersecurity applications, or for that matter, any business application. And that's why identity and access has become critical as compared to it is something which is optional. Now, the biggest change, therefore, that happened when Gartner came out with an announcement about 1.5 years ago, saying that the current way of doing identity and access management is not going to work, because there are multiple technologies inside. They're all siloed. They don't talk to each other. It's too complex, too expensive, very poor ROI, and very poor benefits. So they came out with this a very interesting concept of converged identity and access management, which means that all these elements of IAM have to combine themselves into one single code base, into one single platform. I'm very proud to tell you that 1.5 years before Gartner announced this, we had already decided that we are going to do a converged platform. Of course, that was a different name that we had given to it. And when Gartner came out with this announcement, we were the only players in the world which already had a product ready to go. Till today, we are considered to be, from a technology perspective, number one. Nobody has been able to achieve the kind of synthesis and bringing together everything inside one single platform as we have done. So that's a big change in the direction of the way identity and access management was being bought and implemented, which was more, as I said, in silos, to convergence into one single platform.
Thanks a lot, So what I understand is the only way you can have the effective cybersecurity is by positioning identity as the primary control, right? And in this aspect, I think you guys have come up with the Converged IAM solution, which I think has been a pioneer in this. So you started this thing. I mean, you had this Converged IAM in which particular year? Like the solution came or was launched in which year?
So the product business has been just about 4 years in the market.
Okay.
But of course, the building of the product began a couple of years before that. Mm-hmm. In the services side, we have been in the identity and access for more than almost 15 years. But we were centric to US. We were, all of us actually, the companies based out of Bangalore, because India did not have any markets for identity management. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. About 10 of us, a bunch of 10 of us, we literally migrated to US for almost a decade. And our learning of identity and access management fundamentals was done with close to 450 customer implementations in US and Canada region that we did. And then at some point we felt that we had enough certificate to move to build our own product. That's when we divested with the services company and stayed on with the product.
And what's the IP name? Like what's the IP identity?
What's the
product IP? What's the product IP name like?
So the product IP is we have essentially this converged identity and access management platform, which is our product IP, and it's a combination of And it's a combination of all the elements of identity and access management. There are three large elements. One is called access management, one is called privileged access management, and one is called identity governance and administration. So all these three are combined inside one single IP that we have, one single product.
So how do you see the current landscape of the security market evolving, and what are the key trends do you anticipate shaping the industry in the coming years?
Could you repeat the question? Sorry, Kunchal.
So how do you see the current landscape of this cybersecurity market evolving, and what are the key trends do you anticipate shaping the industry in the coming years?
So the biggest change that is happening is because of this. I talked about convergence in IAM, but convergence in cybersecurity is the biggest thing that is happening. Not many people talk about it because, again, like many other vendors in IAM, many have not achieved it. Security has evolved as a reaction to the issues from the people who are compromising, making you compromise, right? The hackers and so on. So it's a very reactive technology. This is what it has been. And that's why every year you see 3 to 4 new technologies coming in. Over a period of time, there are more than 150 technologies in cybersecurity today. Now you can imagine an organization, and I'm not talking about large companies, I'm talking about mid-sized companies, or even SMBs now. As I said, they've got 30 to 40 different pieces of software. How do you really manage it? And does it give you the optimal benefit? No, it does not, because it's not talking to each other. And that convergence of all of it into one single piece partly is being done by what is called the MSSPs, the Managed Security Solution Providers. But they also are in a stage where they are only providing the basics of convergence, not really at a deeper level. Like, for example, there's no single dashboard on which I can see what's the situation of my network, what the situation of my identities, what the situation of my accesses, and so on and so forth. There's nothing like that available. And that is going to be a major evolution in the industry, because that is the real requirement. And that's where I think AI has come as a big boom, because we are baking in a lot of AI in our product now. And I'll give you a simple example. There was a simple thing, like when you have a compliance requirement and your auditors or your regulatory bodies, there are financial other technologies are highly regulated, and cybersecurity is one of the prime things in the regulation part.
Yeah.
And in that, when the auditor comes and he asks for a report which is not out of the box, it becomes almost impossible to provide that. Even in course of running your own systems, you need that kind of out-of-the-box reports and so on. We will be the first vendor which will have a completely AI-based reporting system in the world, which and we are seeing the same possibilities that AI is going to open up in terms of convergence. That is going to be the biggest game changer and innovation.
So what I understand is you provide a dashboard which is more on the reporting part of it, but do you have a support system which is also into the threat management? Like, say for example, if your reports gives some kind of a threat, so do you have something where the threat can be managed?
You mean in the AI context?
Yes, in the AI context. Sorry.
Yeah. So as you know, there's a lot being said about the plus and the minus side of AI, and but I think what happens eventually is I don't know whether yesterday's newspapers carried that in the European Union they have been able to hammer together the first AI very, very detailed a set of policies and regulations which would determine as to what you can do and what you cannot do. And that's pretty quick, because this is a complex area.
Yeah.
And that's already come in place. And what happens in these areas is that somebody takes the first step, and then the whole world follows.
Follow that. Yep.
We see that in cybersecurity today. NIST, which is the American agency, whatever they put in place gets followed all over the world. And that's a good thing in a way, because somebody has to take that lead, who has the resources and the right kind of experts and so on. So that is happening. And yet I personally feel that AI is going to be the most challenging, perhaps the most challenging technology that has ever come in terms of its benefits and the potential harm it can cause. Time will tell, but I believe in, I trust the human intelligence, and I think we have been able to weather a lot of storms, in this world, and this would be another one perhaps. But there are overwhelming benefits as well.
Absolutely. So, can you please also talk about the cross-identity global and the India footprint and its business achievement over the last 12 to 18 months? What, in your view, are the critical factors that have been crucial for cross-identity success in such a dynamic and competitive market?
So, as I spoke about the technology itself, which is a converged technology, as opposed to others, having silos in different silos, that is one of the key reasons for our success. But then, besides that, we also saw to it when we designed the product, because mind it, we came from the services background, and we had sat on the customer side implementing systems and seen the challenges and problems customers face, not only in implementations, but also in supporting. So we saw to it that our whole product is very simple to create, to implement. In fact, the first comment that we get from more than 90% of the customers who see our product is that it is so simple as compared to whatever we have been seeing. So that's one big advantage, and that's why customers like it. We are trying to further do some more innovation. I don't think any vendor has dimmed the line between product and services. We believe it is required for challenging technologies like IAM, which are very service-centric. So in our future generations of the product, not very far from here, customers will have a self-install kind of a tool available, and they would perhaps need only 10% of the service dollars that they have to spend today. That's one I will pick up as an important one. The second one is that we are also seeing large number of customers who are very small in terms of number of people, maybe just about 50 or 100, but they happen to be in a very the regulatory environment, very difficult environment, and they want the entire IAM to be implemented. This is very difficult today because the costs are so high. So we are also looking at doing another technology and product, which is going to be serving the purpose only for below 500 users. There's nothing like that exists in the world today. I'll pick up these two areas as...
Okay. My question was a little different. So what I intend to ask you was more about, when I say your footprint, say, for example, if it is within SME, what kind of footprint in terms of the percentage you have, or probably within the enterprise or within the banking sector, and so on and so forth, and the same applies for the global market as well. So just those figures or percentage also, will make
Sure. So we divide the market into two portions. One is what we call the emerging markets, which are markets like India, good part of Asia falls into that, Latin America, and so on. And then there are the mature markets like the US, parts of Europe, not all of Europe. Both the markets, our positioning is that we try to position our product with customers who are anywhere from 500, I've got 500 to 10,000 users, and are looking for a permanent, a permanent solution, not bits and pieces of identity and access management, who would like to go with a long-term strategy in identity and access, which is what the Gartners of the world also say. But, when you have a problem, you get tempted to just go and jump and buy one piece of the solution, which is a reaction to the whole thing. So we look for more mature customers who are looking for, a larger platform for the future rather than just giving solution to our problem.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at our customers, environments like India, which are rapidly growing, where suddenly regulations are becoming very important in the financial sector. The financial sector is almost 70% or 70 to 80% of our customer base, whereas manufacturing comes second. But if I look into Europe, that changes and really spreads itself much more evenly in various sectors of, I would say, financial, manufacturing, retail, healthcare. These are the four top sectors. So the proportions vary dramatically depending on the market. Mm-hmm. India, by the way, has become a very exciting market because with all the rapid changes that are happening here, IAM, which was not even known 3 years ago, today everybody is wanting to do something about IAM. So it's very interesting to find such markets, are biggest. It leads to a lot of innovation.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where, cross-identity has a lot of play. And so looking at the broader cybersecurity ecosystem, what advice would you offer to the organization seeking to build a robust cybersecurity posture? And how can you effectively balance security measures with the need of for the operational efficiency?
I'll take your second question first because that's very interesting. Security always used to be seen as an insurance, and it has no value, in terms of increasing your productivity and so on, right? And frankly, many of the security technologies do not offer anything in that direction also. Technologies like identity and access management are not essentially 100% cybersecurity technology. They do a lot of stuff in terms of increasing productivity for the user management area, which is a very, very expensive area. And, typically, if you look at a very small example, I'll give you password resets. If you do that manually, in US, the standard costs are about anywhere $15 to $30 for one password reset. That becomes maybe half a cent if you're doing it through technology. So it can save, and there are many other areas like this. Also, there are certain areas which are very people-centric, and a lot of work you got. Productivity is pretty low in those areas, like giving access to a new employee equals join the organization. Yeah, it could take as much as 6 to 10 days, or sometimes more, depending on how many applications he has to be given access to. So the productivity can dramatically improve. A simple technology like single sign-on has done wonders in terms of increasing productivity. If I access 10 applications, I used to have 10 passwords, and 10 times I have to log in. I don't have to do any of it with a simple technology like single sign-on that has come in. Authentication, which has been a big pain for users because multi-factor authentication is very prevalent now. Only passwords nobody really trusts, and logging on multiple times, proving your credentials through multiple authentications has been not so productive and frowned upon by users. But now you've got technologies like passwordless authentication, which makes it possible for you to make it secure and at the same time very convenient for the people. So I think both the user experience and security are important, because as security becomes more and more critical element, the productivity starts coming down. And the challenge for the industry is precisely this, that how do you up the security and at the same time increase the productivity?
Absolutely. I think adopting the agile security solution can be the right balance for things. So with this, we come to the end of the episode. Thanks, Binod, for such an insightful session, and we really had a pleasure.
Thank you. It was really a pleasure talking to you.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.